Throwing middle, caught inside the 5. Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. 14 yards on the strike. Goff to Gibbs. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
Nice job.
Jared takes the snap, back looking, throwing middle, got Amon-Ra inside the 2, to the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Nice job.
Mariota's got it back. Pressure comes. He's hit. Slips out of it. Rolling to his right. Now he's going down. Brian Branch got him. Sack for the Lions. Snap taken by Mariota. Wants to throw it. Gonna get hit. Gonna get sacked.
Yes,
Take it down.
sir.
Brian Branch got him second time today.
Nice job.
Hands it to Gibbs, running right, runs through a tackle, gets down to the 10, Gibbs to the 5, still fighting, down to the 2, down to the 1, to the end zone!
Yes.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! He did not quit!
Nice job.
Off to throw again, does, middle, J-Mo, angling to the end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! J-Mo flips into the end zone for 6.
Nice job. You talking about gut punch up the middle, then talking about tossing it on the edge, and once you get him out on the edge, Sonic is gone.
Pressured by Hutchinson.
Check. All right. What's happening, everybody? It is Sunday night. We got Sunday football on the docket right now, but I thought I'd jump in, give you guys a little state of the North here. Obviously, the Packers and Bears, man, big game tonight. Huge game for both teams, and even a bigger game for your Detroit Lions. Now, it may not seem like much, but either team winning or losing could have dramatic effects on what your Lions are going to be able to do here come the end of the season. I know there's a lot of fans out there that don't want to root for the Packers, but it could probably be said either way. Depends on what boat you're in. We needed the Packers to win tonight. We needed to get the Bears knocked down just one more level. And we'll walk through the playoff predictor, and I'll explain why it is going to be really hard for the Lions to get anything but a 7 seed right now. We can still win the North. We can still get a 4 seed, but man, is it going to be tough. And it's going to be tough for the other teams too. I think that we've seen the Packers were vulnerable tonight. Crappy weather. You know, I started to put a tweet out there and then I kind of erased it because I was thinking, it kind of sounds like I'm just whining, but is it just me, or does it seem like the opponents that we go up against end up getting like shit weather, or my volume's way low, or the teams that we need to lose end up going up against a team and then there's crap weather and they don't play as good as they should. I feel like the Bears probably had the upper end of the control tonight because of the weather, because of their ground game. Now the Packers obviously came alive too when they needed to. Jones' huge run there, I think it was early in the fourth quarter. And then, man, as I'm screaming, like, Packers, just get a freaking interception already and end this thing. 2 seconds later, it was a Keeson Nixon comes down with a huge interception to end the Bears' night. Oh, what a sigh of relief. what a sigh of relief. In you know what? F Ben Johnson, F the Bears, F the Packers even harder. Both those teams can kiss my left and my right. I'm over it, man. This has been a tough year for the Lions. It's been a tough year for our fan base. I feel like our fan base is just kind of breaking apart at the seams. We used to be all hugs and love, and I feel like there's this giant divide that, it doesn't feel right. And you know what they say, man? If you're divided, you're gonna fall. Right? We need to stay together. And if we're together, the team's together. So we need to do a better job as fans. I will say that we need to do a much better job as fans, and we need to show that we can stick together too. Obviously, last Thursday was fun. It was just a couple days ago. It was fun. It was a great night. Huge game, explosive game on Thursday night against the Cowboys. We did what we needed to do. And no, I don't think the Cowboys really had a shot in that game. I mean, I think the refs tried to keep them involved, and they were involved, but they didn't even score a touchdown until like midway through the third quarter. Their kicker was keeping them into the game, but 9 points midway through the third quarter it was an ass kicking for the Lions if you really think about it. And so that's the kind of a win, kind of a grinded out win. You got to beat the refs and the other team. That's just the way the Lions are going to have to play the rest of the season. They have to play to beat the refs. I'm not going to whine about it, not going to cry about it. It's all spilled milk at the end of the day. We just have to go in and do our job, right? That's what the Lions need to do. That's what Dan Campbell tells them every day. But now we have a bigger job to do. We have 4 games left. Just 4. And right now the Detroit Lions are 8-5, and we need to finish 12-5. That is our best way at finishing number 1 in the NFC North and taking the NFC North crown for the 3rd season in a row. Anything other than that, in my opinion, is just not acceptable. Not at this point. I get it. We lost Brian Branch, huge loss. I really haven't been on since Friday to talk about it. Friday morning, we speculated that he was going to be out. He was out shortly after that. And huge loss, man. Brian, if you read my article on DetroitFootballJournal.com, he is a huge part of this team. And I don't even know how you bounce back from losing somebody like Brian Branch and the issues that we've had with Kirby Joseph and Terry and Arnold now out for the season. But like I said in the article, the path to winning, the path to winning, or the path to replacing Brian Branch is not as easy as we would think. Everyone thinks that we can just go out and sign somebody and we're going to be just fine. It's not that easy. And it's not that easy to find somebody like Brian Branch. You can't. They don't exist. The hard worker that he is, what he means to this team, the style of play that he plays with. Yeah, he pushes the envelope. I wouldn't want it any different. I really wouldn't. And to see, some of the Cowboys fans and even some of the Packers fans, hell, even some Bears fans saying couldn't have happened to a worse dude. And wishing that it happened to Brian Branch, and they're happy that he suffered an Achilles injury. That is just absolutely disgusting. And so make sure that you're not one of those fans. We don't wish ill will or injuries upon other players. Yes, when we go through the week and look at the schedule and look at the upcoming game and we talk about injuries, we may say, yeah, our game would be easier if this player can't suit up. But by no means does that mean we want that player to be injured. If you're anything like me, you want to go up against somebody at their best, because when they're at their best and you're at your best and you win, man, it feels that much better. And then it actually means something, right? It actually means something. You don't want people putting asterisks all over your schedule and all over your win and loss record. But tonight, man, what we're in here talking about is the NFC North. State of the North. Where are we going? How are we going to get there? And what's up next? But before we get into all that, let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Looks like we got a few names in here that are new, so welcome in. But of course, we got Trace kicking us off. Nick P's in the house. Gary G. Welcome in, Gary G. Who else is in here tonight? Warner U of M dad. Better the Hunt. Look at you in here, man. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Casey's in the house. John Desage. Good to see you back. Victoria Dillmore. And you know what? Some of your names I may not recognize because of YouTube and what they've been doing. Seems like every other week they change up what they're doing. Arf's in the house. King SJ's in the house. Steve knows the policy. I assume that's Steve, the Packer fan. Good to see you, Steve. Bill Collier's in here. What else we got? I'm going to miss some names. It's not by purpose, but I'm going to miss some names. Cruisin's in the house. There you are, Cruisin. Kevin's in the house. YOOPERLITES, see you in here. FTB and FDTB all day. All day, every day. Twice on Sunday. Jim Jackson's in the house. Lena McCollum. And anybody else I missed, it's not by purpose. Hope you're all having one major pain. I see you. Hope you're all having a fun Sunday night, man. We got some big games still left on the schedule tonight. Good weekend, man. Good weekend of games. I didn't get to watch all of them. Spent better part of my day today getting the studio all clean and getting it ready to add the gym. And then Amazon decided not to show up. So spent all this time getting ready, and then your rowing machine doesn't come. So tomorrow, hopefully it'll show up. I'm excited to get to rowing, man. I might even do some morning shows working out. I just might. We'll see. I might try. Y'all should just do it with me. We'll just wake up at 6 a.m. We'll just do workout together. How about that? All right, so let's go through the playoff predictor. There's no sense in even conversating about it until we see what's on paper, right? Let me just bring it in. Oh, hey, I'm not even in. Maybe I should probably fix that, huh? Oh, where's my camera? Yeah, speaking of cameras, we got a new camera for the show. It's taking me a little bit of time to get it fixed up, get it figured out, but it will be figured out in no time. Hey, there we go. Of course, it's all messed up. One sec, my bad. I thought I looked at everything. Apparently, I didn't look at this scene. We got background music flowing too. Hopefully, it's not too bothersome. Just let me know in the chat if it's too bothersome, and I'll figure out a way to turn it off. Okay, it's gonna be kind of tough to see all of this. I'll do my best with it. But at the end of the day, really, you're just going to have to listen to what I say as far as who ends up where if you can't see it that good. Where's the window capture? Come on, where's it at? There we go. One minor fix here, and it should look a little bit better. All right, is what it is. Okay, so let's get into Week 14. Obviously, Green Bay just beat the Bears. We don't have to worry about that game now. Next up, we've got Houston and Kansas City and Philly and the Chargers. Obviously, Philly only matters if we think that we're going to get a 1 or a 2 seed or something like that. Yeah, I'd say it's 1, 4, or 7. Those are our options. And quite honestly, 4 and 7 is probably the only option. Anything could happen. I mean, when you look at the NFC, I mean, look, LA and Seattle, great records at 10-3. Seattle at 10-3, but only one of those teams can finish on top, right? But the next team could finish with the 5th seed. I think is the way that's probably going to work out. It's either 1 or 5. So unless we beat one of their records and they somehow collapse, we go 12-5 and they finish at 11-6. I mean, that's about the only way we're going to be able to jump one of those guys. So LA and Seattle right now is the 1 and the 5, either or. I think that's pretty locked in. So we do have a chance, but it is slim to none. If you take a look here at week 15, here's what I had everything locked in. What happened? I guess we'll redo it. All right. Tampa, I know they lost the rough one today. We'll give them a win next week. Look, Cleveland's got a crazy defense. And with Shedeur Sanders, look, I think anything could happen at this point. Would I be crazy to think that Cleveland might come in and stun the Cowboys or stun the Bears? I think it's possible. I really do. I don't think that Caleb Williams has seen a defense like the Browns this season. So we'll just go ahead and we'll give it to the Bears. But I'm telling you, watch out for that game. Baltimore at Cincy. I think Baltimore has that one. We need Baltimore to win. I believe the next week they're against the Bears. Houston and Arizona, that's Houston. New York Jets, not happening. Jacksonville's going to win that game. Kansas City and the Chargers. I think the Chargers took a big hit. Speaking of big hits, we'll take KC in this game. Man, Daniel Jones messing up his leg tonight. What a huge loss for the Colts. And he absolutely does not deserve it. He's had an incredible run this season, trying to repair and rebuild his career. And now it ends in just stunning fashion. And now he's going to be out for the majority of next season, if not all of next season. And I don't think he's under contract. So really sucks for him. Heart goes out to Daniel Jones, man. I really wanted to see that guy win. Buffalo and New England. I think New England's got that one. I think their defense is going to be a little bit too tough. Giants and Washington, man. Washington looked terrible against the Vikings today. And I don't even want to hear it about J.J. McCarthy. That is a very bad Washington team. I'm going to give it to New York. Philly's going to beat Las Vegas. That is another one that could tilt in either direction. I do like Las Vegas's offense with that quarterback. What's his name? Davis? I'm sorry. Geno Smith. What was I thinking? He suffered a shoulder injury tonight, did he not? Either way, I'm going to roll with the Broncos there. Broncos in Green Bay. I do believe that the Broncos are going to get after Jordan Love. Then you got the Rams and the Lions, man. This is the biggest game of the year, quite honestly, outside of our divisional opponents. In the way that we played this last week, in the way that we have played the Rams over the last couple of seasons, I'm giving it to Detroit. You can call me crazy. I'm taking Detroit right now. We'll come back and revisit what happens if we lose this game. Carolina's going to mop the floor with the Saints. Look, Colts are done. Seattle's going to win. San Francisco's going to win. Dallas is going to win. Pittsburgh's probably going to win. Week 16. So that doesn't do a whole lot just yet, but week 16, and right now we are not in the playoffs. Seattle and LA. I think this is a pick'em game. I think that if Matthew Stafford has his way, he could probably win this game. But Seattle's defense is legit when they show up. And Sam Darnold, I think, has proven that he's legit. So I'm going to go Seattle. Chicago and Green Bay. Of course, Chicago wants to get back at Green Bay. And I haven't gone through this 6 times, so I'm not real sure which direction this is going to flow yet. Let's go Chicago. Let's say that Chicago gets one. But the way that I did it before, Chicago did not even make the playoffs. Philly wins the next game. We'll go New England, Carolina, Buffalo, Dallas, Jets, Giants, Kansas City, Arizona, Denver again. That I think is going to be a closer game with Jacksonville than a lot of people are giving it credit to be. Lions must beat Pittsburgh. That is a game that I feel like could hurt us. Aaron Rodgers coming in to play spoiler. God, I hope not. Houston, Miami pulls one out, and Colts are done. So San Francisco. Week 17, we'll take Dallas. Lions better smoke Minnesota on on Christmas. Denver's going to beat KC. I mean, I can't see where Denver needs to rest anybody yet, but they beat KC. Seattle and Carolina. I'm taking Carolina in that game. I know I'm nuts, but I like their defense. We'll give one to the Bengals. Why not? This is the game for us right here. Baltimore and Green Bay. We need Baltimore to win. Houston, New York. I don't know why. We'll just do it for the hell of it. Pittsburgh, Jacksonville again. Colts are done. Tampa, New England clearly. New Orleans. I like Buffalo over Philly. And we're going to go San Francisco over the Bears. And the Rams win. And then week 18. Lions right now the 2 seed. Just with that. And the Bears the 6. Green Bay is out. So far. We'll go Atlanta. Buffalo. Lions must win to beat the Bears. But what if we lose? We just swap where we are. We go from the 7th to the 2nd or the 2nd to the 7th. So either way we're in, the way that I've set this up so far, we'll go Bengals, Denver, Houston, Jacksonville, Rams, KC, and then Green Bay. Green Bay, even with a win here in week 18, are still not in. New England, Dallas, Philly, Baltimore, San Francisco, Seattle. And I'm going to go Carolina there at the last game. So let's go back to week 15. Here's what we did. We got the Bears beating the Browns. And I do believe the Browns could win. What happens if this game flip-flops? Bears go to number 4 versus number 2. Bears win the NFC North still. Well, that's a problem. Right? So Bears at 12-5, Lions at 11-6. Bears win the North. That can't happen. But we'll leave it alone. Okay? Green Bay and Denver. I don't think that there's a way that Green Bay is going to be able to beat Denver. I don't see Denver laying down in this game. But I have us beating LA. Well, let's say we lose this game. We're out. LA is now the 5th seed. Seattle's at number 1. Green Bay bounces into number 7. Okay, week 16. Chicago and Green Bay. Well, I have Chicago winning this game. I'm going to say Green Bay takes it now. Well, that puts Green Bay at the 3rd seed. It bounces the Bears to number 7. Then you got the Lions of Pittsburgh. That doesn't change. Week 17, we win. Green Bay loses to Baltimore. And you got San Francisco beating the Bears. Okay. This is where it changes. The Bears beating us in week 18 right now. We now beat the Bears. That bounces the Bears out. Puts the Lions in at the 7th seed. Green Bay still hangs on to the 3rd seed. So as you can see, there's a couple of things that really need to happen over the next several weeks. The Bears can win week 15. The Bears will lose week 16. The Bears will lose week 17. And the Bears will lose week 18. So if the Bears take 3 losses, they're out. If they take 2 losses, they're in. Well, let's say somehow... Let's just say somehow they pull off the Ravens game. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Week 15, was it? No. Oh, that was Ravens Green Bay. I'm sorry. Let's say they pull off the Green Bay game. If they pull off the Green Bay game, that puts the Lions in as the number 1 seed at 11-6. And then that puts the Bears in as the 2nd seed in the NFC North, or the 2nd team. It bounces Green Bay out. That puts the Bears in at number 7 and the Lions in at number 4. So where do you think we go for the first week? Bears come to Detroit. There it is. That's the matchup. That's the NFL script, and that's how it's going to happen. Green Bay is going to get bounced, and the Bears are coming to Detroit. What do you think? Think it'll happen? Where's Steve at? He says, go slower. I'm writing all this down. Yeah, I doubt it. You don't have to write it down, man. Just go back and hit rewind. So, as far as all the other games, like, I don't care about anything in the AFC at all. I really only care about the NFC teams. I don't care what happens in the AFC. For this exercise, it's more so just trying to figure out our own destiny and the NFC North's destiny. So nothing else really matters. Tampa Bay, yeah, I think that they can beat Atlanta. Week 16. Does anyone not agree that Seattle can beat LA, or do we think that LA is going to beat Seattle? What do you guys think there? Steve, you're still writing all this down. Don't worry about it, buddy. I know you're just bullshitting anyway. I know you're just bullshitting. Let me turn off this music. It's a little lame. Matt Queen says, we need the team to be clutch next Sunday for sure. Well, look, we need our team to be clutch the next several weeks. We have to finish this season clicking. Look, AQM sparked it, okay? He was the initial bit of magnesium, right? He's getting it going. We needed a spark. He sparked it too. Now it's Aiden's time to start carrying that torch. That's what we need on this defense. We need Aiden to pick up the torch and carry it the rest of the way out. This is when Aiden has to show up. We need him right now. Big time. Especially with Branch out. It's on that front four, man. Really, it's on that front seven. The front seven is about as healthy as it's going to be. You know, the one name that I kind of forgot about and I haven't really checked on, is Zach Cunningham done for the year? Because my memory is for crap. And I can't remember if Zach Cunningham is done for the year or not. I have a feeling that he is, but I would love to see Zach Cunningham somehow make it back if it was possible to have him on the practice squad going into playoffs. Yeah, Aiden didn't show up last week, but now's the time. Look, you guys know me. I love to be honest and critical. With stats and analytics and do it the right way, right? Not name call and all that other jazz. But I can still sit here and tell you, I need Aiden to show up. I need him to show up. For me personally, as a fan, I want nothing more than Aiden to show up. Because when he shows up, things can be dangerous for this defense. And we need a dangerous defense right now. Our offense, I'm pretty confident in. The offensive line has been tested all season long. They've seen everything. And I think right now they're going to start clicking a little bit. I think Frazier breathed a little bit of life into that offensive line, because even though he had a rough start, I think he finished fairly strong in that game. And that was good to see. It was good to see. You give him a few games of getting right, a little get right, and he's going to be fine, at least for the rest of the season. Yeah, I hear you on Aiden being tired, man. The 80-plus snaps a game, that's on him. He needs to come out. He needs to come out. But that's on him. It's not Kelvin Shepard saying stay in the game. It's Aiden not coming out of the game. Aiden can raise his hand like anybody else and say, I need a breath. He can do that. And honestly, if Kelvin Shepard was smart, I think that he would take Aiden out on second down. Second down largely being a rundown. I think that you allow Aiden to get in there on first and third and fourth, and you take him out on second. And you don't have to do it every time, but even a few extra times a game, man, it'll pay its dividends. So, walking through this again, let's go through it one more time. Week 15, Bears or Cleveland. We're going Bears. Okay, Detroit or the Rams. I got us losing to the Rams right now. So right now we're the number 1 seed in the North at 11-6, losing to the Rams. Now, if we beat the Rams, oh man, this gets even better for us, right? It gets even better for us. So let's say we lose to the Rams. The Bears beat Cleveland. Again, when the Bears lose to Cleveland, this gets even better for us. Green Bay, I have them losing to Denver. What happens if they win? Well, the Lions still stay at number 7. Green Bay pops in at number 3. Could happen. I doubt it's going to happen. I don't think anyone in their right mind thinks that Green Bay is going to beat Denver. I do see the connection with Watson and Love, and if you're a smart team, which Sean Payton is a smart dude, he's going to take that away. Week 16, again, the Bears getting revenge on Green Bay. Okay, it's likely. What if Green Bay wins? All right, well, that just bounces the Lions back down to the 7th seed, and Green Bay is now in first place and at the number 3 seed. All right, the Bears definitely out of the playoffs at this point at 10-7. No one cares about Minnesota. They don't have a shot. We just can't lose to Pittsburgh. That is the biggest, what people call a trap game. I wouldn't call it a trap game because that means your team is kind of overlooking them. This is a game that can get you game, right? That's what Pittsburgh is. It's a game that can get you. And if they get us, that's a problem. The Vikings, they've already shown that they can get after us. We have to figure that one out. If we don't win week 17, our season's over. If we lose to Minnesota and Dallas keeps winning, the Lions are out, Dallas is in, the Bears are out, Green Bay's number 3. That's a real scenario. That's a real scenario if we lose to the Rams. Now, if we lose to Minnesota but somehow pull one off against the Rams, well, we're right back in it. So you can see how this flip-flops a little bit depending on what happens every week. There's no way in hell we're losing on Christmas Day. Dan Campbell better have this team right. And if what we saw on Thursday night was any sort of an idea of what's coming next, I think that Dan Campbell finally let his guard down a little bit. Drank a different brew of coffee, I don't know. Changed his tune, changed his underwear, I don't know what he did. But that was a different Dan Campbell on Thursday night. More reserved, more calculated, calling the right plays. He was mixing it up. It was almost like he was throwing dice on the sideline and saying, okay, I'm going with that play. Or he's throwing darts at balloons. All right, I'm going with that play. I thought he was mixing it up that well. And if he can continue to do that, we're in a great position the rest of the way out. Week 17 to finish the week. LA is definitely going to beat Atlanta. I can't see that not happening. Buffalo over Philly. Look, Philly has not looked great. They really haven't. For several weeks in a row now, they don't look good. The Bears in San Francisco, there's no reason why San Francisco shouldn't beat the Bears, but let's say the Bears get them. Well, even if the Bears do beat them, they're still out at 11-6. And that is because right now we beat the Bears, but if we happen to lose to the Bears, they become the number 1 seed. Or they become the number 1 in the North. Then we're out. And Green Bay slides to 6. So anything can happen. At the end of the day, what we need right now is... Here, let me pull up the standings. I just got to look at something. So the Bears are 9-4. The Packers are 9-3. The Lions are 8-5. So we're a game out. Okay, so we're 1 game out. What we need right now is the Bears and the Packers to lose 2, or at least one of those teams to lose 2. If it's the Bears we're talking about, we just need to beat them again, and then they need to lose another game. I think that's about as dumbed down as I could make it for myself to understand. The Bears lose 2, the Packers lose at least 1, and we don't lose any. That would be the best way to make this all go away. Outside of that, hey, we still got a long season in front of us. We still have a whole quarter to play here, and anything can happen. Does anyone want to call in and talk about it? Anything that I'm missing? Anything you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to talk about? I'll go ahead and throw the call button on. Oh, I froze. Hold on. Come on back. There we go. I know I got terrible lighting. Everything's all a mess in here today. All right, let me get the call button on here. Let me make sure everything's turned on. And I'm going to grab a soda pop or something real quick. All right, give me 2 seconds. I'll throw the call button on. Give me 2 seconds. I have to run to my fridge. All right, while we're waiting for somebody to call. How many people we got in, by the way? 184 in. How you guys all doing till Sunday night, man? Welcome into Rockhound Detroit Lions. If you haven't, do me a huge favor and subscribe. Obviously, share the channel would help us out a ton. Always hit that like and hype on your way in or out. Would really appreciate it. Been doing this now for 2 seasons. Cancer survivor, trying to help other cancer survivors and warriors. That's what this channel is all about. Of course, the Detroit Lions. 27 years of season tickets for myself. And great co-host during the week, during the morning show, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m., Eric Wintemaki, otherwise known as YOOPERLITES. Join us, man. Join us throughout the week. Obviously, anytime we do a pop-up show, I thought tonight was a good time to do one. We're in it. The Packers helped us, right? As much as we don't want to admit it, they helped us tonight. My article here on what happened on Thursday night, also talking about Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons has been on my radar for a long time. Here's the article if you want to read it later. It's free to subscribe to DetroitFootballJournal.com. But quite simply, I was just trying to let everybody know, I just don't see it happening. I don't. And honestly, to boil all of this down, when everything went down on Thursday night, Brian Branch is on the ground. I mean, one of the first names that popped in my head was Justin Simmons. And it's probably wasn't much longer after that we got back to the hotel and I started to see some things pop up with Justin Simmons as far as appearances that he's had. I think it might have been the next day. I think he was on Up and Adams with Kate Adams, and then he was on a couple of other shows. And I think he does a weekly show for a Broncos channel. He is really attached to the Broncos. Really attached. And I just don't see him playing for another team. If anything, he might return to the Broncos. And if needed, right, maybe as a vet squad addition, hopefully, you don't want him to suffer any injuries. But if that were to happen, I think that he would return to the Broncos in a heartbeat. He had a good year last year. I'm surprised that he went, this whole season without getting picked up. But then again, maybe that was his decision that he didn't really want to play and he was only going to play for a contender, and the Broncos are definitely contenders. So I just don't see it happening. I really don't. It's not to poo-poo the guy because I think he's a great leader. I think he's one of the best safeties out there, especially in free agency land. He's definitely the best safety out there. I don't care about his age. That kind of leadership on this team would be huge. He's seen it all, done it all, man. He's a great football player. I would love to see him join the Lions. Just not going to happen. The only other thing that I see here is a schematic difference. He thrives in zone. A lot of quarters. Cover 6, cover 4. A lot of quarters, man. And we play a lot of man. So unless Calvin Shepard is willing to adapt a little bit, I don't see it happening. I really don't. And it's unfortunate because we do need somebody. But I think that we know Brad Holmes good enough by now that he believes in the guys that we have on this team, that we have on the vet squad, the guys that we have on the practice squad, period. I think that he believes in some of these guys. And we still have Avonte Maddox. We can't forget about him. He's a good football player. He can play the single high if he has to. Kirby Joseph, man, get back. right? We need you now more than ever. I hope that he can get back this week against the Rams. It would be a huge blessing if he could. We'll see what happens. If he does come back, and if he is able to finish out the season, we're okay. We're okay. We still have DJ Reed entering his 4th game. He's looking better week by week. He did not have a great game against the Cowboys, but he finished strong. I think that you also have to consider the fact that the other side, Rock Ya-Sin, has played good football all season. He's been hung up, with a couple of penalties here or there. I think that he's been targeted quite a bit by the refs, and it's unfortunate. Very minor, though. Hasn't really put this team into a bad position a whole lot of times. I think that he's playing good football. And Amik Robertson, man, like my article said, he's bailed us out time and time and time again. Might have had a rough game. Yeah, he got burned by Flournoy against the Cowboys. Let up a big touchdown. But look at all the plays that he makes. Tipping the ball, flipping up some interceptions to other people. That's what you expect out of Amik, punching the ball out. He's all over the field. He's always making plays. And I think that we're in a better spot than we were last year. Yeah, the Los Angels, excuse me. Appreciate your $4.99 super chat. Says, was really hoping the Bears would win, but we need the Packers to lose twice, and we went out to win the division. Everything hinges on the Rams game. Yes and no. Yes and no. I hear you. I just don't think it's likely the Lions win out. I think the Rams is the only game I'm extremely concerned about. And then there's week 18 in the frozen Chicagoland of Soldier Field, that there's going to be a certain faction of this fan base that is going to say Jared Goff can't play in the cold weather, that his hands are too small, and that he shouldn't wear gloves, and that's going to be the downfall of the Lions. Well, let's just hope he can just turn and hand that ball off to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and they do some damage. Let's just hope that that's what happens. If you believe that. I don't believe it. Jared Goff played week 18 versus the Packers 3 seasons ago and finished them in 2022. That was a very cold, frigid game. He's played fine in crap weather. One game is not going to skew me on what Jared Goff can and can't do. Just one game against Philly, and he didn't have his greatest game. But look at all the other games that he's played extremely well. A big shout out to you again, the Los Angeles. Appreciate your donation there. Why $4.99 and not $5? Do you work at a gas station? No, I think that's just the way that YouTube has them structured. I don't think I structure them that way. I honestly, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. If you work at a gas station, it's funny. No, then it would be like $4.99 and like 9,000 tenths, whatever that says. You know what I'm saying? It's got all those numbers after the fact. Uh-oh, Steve says he's getting attacked by Bears fans. Why am I not surprised? You must be on Twitter? Or you're in a different chat somewhere? All right, so you guys tell me, man. I'll put it out to you. How do you feel the Lions get in? What do we have to do? Where's our path? Can we beat the Rams? Let's start there. We'll put up a poll. Let's put up the poll, man. Can the Lions beat the Rams? Jared Goff going back home for the second time as a Detroit Lion. First time in 2021. And we lost that game. Can we go back and finish the job? They have an incredible defense. You know, speaking of defense, let's take a look at Rams defense while we're in here. I'm curious. Curious about their rushing defense. Rushing yards per game. All right, we got somebody calling. This is Will with Rockhound Detroit Lions. Who's on the line?
Buchanan.
Buchanan, what's happening, man? How are you?
Oh, not a whole lot. I think we got a good chance. I think if we beat the Rams, which I'm in agreement with you, I think we got a good chance too. If we beat the Rams, I think we're golden, because I think Packers are gonna lose too. I know Ravens are struggling, but we're talking about Lamar.
Yeah.
And I think Lamar ends on a good note. And then I don't think there's any chance in hell they beat the Broncos.
I don't think so either, man. The Broncos got a really tough D, and obviously, a lot of Lions fans try to liken, what they do in pass rush to what we do or don't do. And so let me ask you that. Can we get after Matthew Stafford? We've been after him before. Do you feel like this game hinges on the front seven getting after Stafford?
It definitely hinges on the front seven. It definitely. I mean, we had Stafford on our team for years. We know how good Stafford is.
Mm-hmm.
If Stafford has time to throw the ball, he will tear us apart.
1,000%. I couldn't agree more. So let me ask you another question, Buchanan. The Rams defense right now is right behind the Lions as far as rushing defense. They're allowing 103.5 yards per game. The Lions 102.7. We had a really good showing last week, Thursday, against the Cowboys. Can Sonic and Knuckles do something that no other team has done this season? The Rams only allowed 51 yards last week, or that might have been this week. 51 yards of rushing. Can we get 150 yards in that game?
To be honest, if we're playing the ball that we played against the Cowboys, I don't think there's a team in the NFL that can stop our run. Now, if our offensive line plays like it did 2 weeks ago, I think we're in major, major trouble. We have so much focus on our D line. I think our focus on the offensive line is what we don't look at enough as Lions fans, and I think that's our hardest part. I think that's our worst position group.
Yeah.
I think that's our worst position group is our offensive line.
It is, man. We've been banged up, injured. We got young guys starting, playing some of their first football ever. Miles Frazier. We had a few false starts in the last game, a few penalties early, settled in nicely. Not saying he's the answer. One game doesn't mean anything, but it was a good showing. And he's a big body. If you listen to Miles Frazier a few weeks ago, he said that he was always ready to start the way that he conditions. He didn't have to worry about his conditioning part of it. It was just getting on the field, learning, the system and things of that nature. So you're right, man. Our offensive line, they can either help us or hurt us the most, I feel, against the Rams. I think our defensive line is going to be who they are, and that's either they're average or they're playing lights out. I don't think that there's any in between.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. It's either, like you said, average or amazing. And I hope we have to have the amazing against the Rams. That's hands down our hardest game is this coming week that we have up.
I think so too. We still have one guy that hasn't done a whole lot over the last several weeks, and that's Aiden Hutchinson. I know a lot of people get excited about those fourth quarter stats and the pressures or the quarterback hits. I'm less impressed. But the fact that we've been able to do what we've been able to do this season and Aiden not really been a part of all of it, what does that tell you as a fan? As someone that just watches football, period. If we're able to do what we're doing on defense without Aiden being a huge factor, how much better can we be when he shows up and lights them up next week in LA?
I've talked to you numerous times about Hutch. I think last game he actually did well. He didn't have crazy stats, but I think he did have enough hurries. We were talking about it in the chat earlier. The one he could have had at least one sack last game. It was less than 3 seconds. AQM just got to him faster. I mean,
they were both there. They were both close.
Yeah, I think Aiden played pretty well last year without having a very statistically good game.
Mm-hmm.
he did force Dak out. He forced Dak to move numerous occasions. I don't think he's 100% healthy yet. I think that's why he has such a. I mean, just go look at his last year versus this year. There's no reason why he should have got worse than what he was playing at last year before he got hurt. There's only one thing that's different.
Well,
is I don't think he's still at 100%. We were talking about his bull rush. He's not using it. I think that's because of a fear with his knee still. He's not bull rushing. He keeps rushing outside, left and right. And I watch Aiden pretty consistently when we're on defense, and he does get double teamed. That opens it up. If he gets one, if he starts off hot, we're in really, really good shape. Even if he doesn't have crazy stat line, if he starts off really hot, then it's going to force teams to use a tight end for him. It's going to force them to always have their running back if he starts off hot, and that's only going to make our other people better. But Dan and Brad's got our line pretty set up altogether. I mean, we have all this talk on Aiden, and I get it. He's a $180 million player eventually. He is still on his rookie contract. That's why I don't like people bringing up money, because he's not on that $180 million contract right now. He's still on his rookie contract, so there's no reason to talk about his extension because he's not even on it right now. He's not making that extension money right now. He's on his rookie contract at this moment. So that's why I don't like talking about the money aspect of Aiden. My thing with it is they've set up that defensive line to be very good, regardless of how good Aiden does or doesn't do. I mean, Aleem's a wrecking ball. Tyleek, you love. I love Tyleek. He's amazing. Reader's amazing. We got other decent DNs, Davenport, AQM, Pascal. I mean, they set up our defensive line to be very good. And it's something you've talked about a lot, that we don't need another defensive end.
No, we don't.
We got people. We have people.
Well, if you look at just the last game as a microcosm of the season, when Aiden, to your point, if Aiden's able to, affect the pocket, move the quarterback a little bit, a lot of people say, well, you need another guy to help out Aiden. AQM just had one of the best statistical games of any defensive end ever in a Detroit Lions uniform over the last 5 seasons. And only Aiden has had better. It's really difficult to have those kind of stats and to have that effect on a game. But to your point, the rookie, Tyleek Williams, the guy that I expected the Lions to draft, he was my number 1 overall pick to the Lions. He has played incredibly well. He is a very young dude, and I can only imagine where he's going to be year 2, year 3. He's going to be that much better. Aleem McNeil is still young. He's bouncing back from his knee injury. He's going to get better and better and better as the weeks go on. Our linebackers are playing good football. I know Derek Barnes hasn't done a whole lot, but man, last week he showed up. But Jack,
he did.
Jack is a different player altogether. He might be one of the best linebackers in the league. He's definitely a top 5 in my book, but he might be the best, and he will be the best at some point. So when you look around this defense, I get it. There's some people out there that say we needed something opposite of Aiden. Just look around. The front 7 is built so that you can not depend on one person or two players. You have 7 anywhere around. And then Brian Branch, who unfortunately is gone, who's coming up in that robber role, playing up, along the line a little bit. You had him able to make plays as well. And I think that Shepard's done an excellent job at getting all these guys involved. Give me your final take, and then we'll see if another caller wants to jump in.
I'm just excited, honestly. I think we're still in great playoff shape. I think as long as we go out and do what the Lions are capable of doing and have done in numerous games the last 3 years, I think we're in great shape. We just got to go out and play Detroit football and beat the hell out of the Rams.
I got you, man. Good takes tonight, Buchanan. We'll talk to you in the next one, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good night. Take care. So, I think he's spot on with the key word there at the end. Capable. Do what the Lions are capable of doing. The Lions are fully capable on defense of taking over a game. I get it. We're banged up in the secondary. 2 years in a row, we have absolutely just been run over by a Mack truck with injuries, man. And Brian Branch going down was, you would think last year would have been the last straw, right? It would have been the last straw. And it was with Amik Robertson. That was the last straw. It was over when we lost Amik. It's not over. Brian Branch is big, but it's not over. Not by a long shot. And I think that when you look around, there's a reason why Brad and Dan have done what they have done at building this roster from the inside out and adding pieces all over the place. If you look at the drafts, one minor correction, we don't have Josh Paschal anymore. We still have Ahmed Hassanin, who has yet to suit up. I don't expect a ton there, but it's good depth. But anyway, if you look at all the drafts, Brad didn't really double down anywhere in the first round. He put pieces strategically everywhere on this roster, offense and defense. He never really double dipped at any one position. He will this next season, I believe. He'll finally start adding that other defensive end that's going to be young, probably early in the draft. He's probably going to move around as much as he can with picks and try to move up as much as he can. You'll see the offensive line get rebuilt this next draft. And I think that is the most important thing to allow our offense to win and allow our offense to continue doing what they're doing. But when you look even on the offensive side of the football, we're still very young. Jared Goff is just into his 30th birthday. Penei Sewell is like 24 years old. We've got three young offensive linemen in Miles Frazier, Mahogany, and Ratledge that, if anything, two of those guys, not named Ratledge, could end up being extremely high-quality backups that could be starters on most teams, depending on what Brad does in the draft. If Brad goes out and gets a left tackle and a left guard, or a left tackle and a center, we've got a stacked offensive line almost immediately. And that's like Mahogany's almost back too. And that's a good thing to have. I think our offensive line is in between a year right now. Whereas if this was next season, we're in great shape. We're just a year in between. I get it. Frank retiring was not conducive to this offensive line being able to stay as dominant as it has been the last 4 seasons. We still have a really good offensive line. Unfortunately, age is catching up to Taylor Decker, and that'll be corrected next year. But for this season, as long as Decker can stay upright, I think that, and everyone else could stay upright on the offensive line, I think that we have enough to win. You guys, I think you all get this. We've gone up against a first place schedule. We've gone up against some of the hardest defenses, the best defenses that you're going to see. And we've done this well. One point that I think I would want to bring back about what Buchanan had said, with Aiden, where you had mentioned, there's really no reason for him to be playing any worse than what he was playing before he got injured last year. I want to make sure that I'm clear about this, because I've been very clear. What Aiden was doing last year really wasn't ever done before, and it was also against a lot of second, third string tackles and guards. So he had a optimal opportunity, if you will, going up against those offensive lines, number one. Number two, that play was insane. And I never expected Aiden to come back and be that kind of player again. I think that would be wrong of me to say that's now the floor. Like, that's who we expect you to be. I know what you're saying, Buchanan, but I expected Aiden. I think my prediction was 12 sacks for him this year. Modest, right? I think it's a good target. He can definitely still get there. And I think that's where Aiden needs to be every year. And to your point, again, and to one of my points throughout the season, It's because we have guys like AQM that can step up and have 12 sacks in the season. Right now he has 9. Because we have guys like Jack, and if Aleem McNeil was playing the whole season, he can pitch in 6 or 7. Tyleek Williams at some point is going to pitch in 4, 5, or 6. We have multiple guys that can go in and get you 5, 6, 7 sacks in the season. Collectively, my biggest key to what Brad Holmes was doing, or my idea of what Brad Holmes was doing, is not depending on any one player. I need multiple players that can step up at any moment's notice and take over a game. And that's what the Lions have. So we don't need just 2 players. We need 7, right, on a defense that can play lights out. And some days you're going to have a great game. Some days you're not. And that's where the guy next to you has to step up. That's what Brad built. And Dan. But that's what they built. They built the team that can step up together. And they were challenged last week. AQM stood up. And he took over the game. Now it's Aiden's turn. It's a big game for Aiden. We're going up against a really good defense. A defense that has players that I had high on my list in every draft. Kobe Turner. Jared Verse. Who else do they have? Byron Young. Excuse me. God, they have a few other players. Mind escapes me right now. So earlier I was asking, can the Lions beat the Rams? 78 votes, 71% of you say we can. I think we can too. Those 29%, I would like for you to tell me in the chat right now, why can't we? What is going to prevent us from beating the Rams? My second question was, can the Lions do what hardly any team has been able to do this year against the Rams? And that is, can the Lions put 150 yards of rushing on the ground, or 150 yards of rushing on the books versus the Rams? I think they can. I think they're going to have to, but I think they can. They're playing in a dome, right? Don't have to worry about weather. 2 weeks ago, played the Panthers. Chuba Hubbard put up 83. Rico Dowdle put up 58. Young put up 23. Collectively, they put up over 150 yards against the Rams. That's a really good game against the Rams. So that tells me that there's something that the Panthers saw that a lot of teams did not see. And I think that that is going to be exactly what the Lions see. I don't know what it is yet because I haven't broken down the Rams. We have a lot of time before that game. But if I go in and just look, week by week, see what other teams have been able to have success against the Rams on the ground, because I do believe that that is a key, a big key to the Lions being able to unlock a win. Now, the Bucs obviously got smoked. They didn't do anything in that game. It's not a great comparison for us. Only they had 123 yards on the ground. Only 2.9 yards per play, but they still put up over 100 yards. Look, if these teams can put up over 100 yards on the Rams, 123 yards against the Rams, and they don't have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery and Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Route 85, or TK85 as you guys call him. I call him Route 85. There is no reason why we can't have an explosive day on the ground. The Seattle Seahawks, pretty damn good football team. They lost to the Rams by 2 points. Low scoring affair, 21-19. They put up 135 against the Rams. 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, He played second fiddle in that game. But that team got held to under 80 yards on the day. Well, they clearly didn't see what everyone else is seeing. And I assume Dan Campbell has his guys locked in on figuring out what it is that the Rams are giving up to some of these teams. Go back to the Saints game. The Saints only put up 57 yards on the ground against the Rams. The Jaguars only scored 7 points. They put up 89 yards against the Rams. The Ravens only put up 3 points. It's pretty scary, the last few games there. They put up 74 yards against the Rams. But multiple weeks here, the Rams are holding teams, under 10 points, under 7 points, 3 points, 9 points against some pretty good teams. The 49ers in the first game, they put up 74 rushing yards. So there's only been a handful of teams that have been able to do what the last couple of teams have been able to do. Now, the Eagles were not one of those teams. Saquon Barkley was not one of those guys. And I have a legit question next about Saquon Barkley when we get back.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, you know as well as I do that Jahmyr Gibbs is a special football player. Extremely special, one of a kind. But if you listen to anybody on any Detroit media 2 years ago during the draft, or even on ESPN, NFL.com, I don't care where you get your NFL news. Well, I do care. Hopefully it's right here. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. on the Rise and Grind Morning Show. You would have heard a lot of people say that you don't take a running back at 12. Brad Holmes severely missed in that draft. That's what everyone said. They said the same thing about Sam Laporta. You don't take a tight end that early. You don't take an injured Jamison Williams. But specifically, we're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs and Saquon Barkley. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs has reset the mark for what it is to be a first-round running back again. He is now tied with the legend, Barry Sanders, with 47 TDs under the age of 24. And the NFL will be a year older before Jahmyr Gibbs is a year older. And that means probably next week, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to break that record. No, not probably. He will break that record with his 48th and probably 49th touchdown on the season. Is Jahmyr Gibbs a better running back than Saquon Barkley? Now, I know that Saquon last year had an amazing season. Amazing season. So much so that I think he even turned down yards in a couple of games where he was kind of taken out or he was on the sideline. The game was won and he could have went in and he could have had the most yards ever in a game. And he said, nah, just let the young guys go eat. That says a lot, right? About a guy that was having a career year. I mean, a season that no one else has had in a long time, if ever, right? The way that he ran the football last season was incredible. But this year, it's a different story. Only 740 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, on the other hand. Jahmyr Gibbs right now has 1,062. He's crushing what Saquon has done. Now, when you look at his numbers, they don't look extremely exciting all the time. Rushing, 43 yards, 68 yards, then 219, 39, then 142, 25, then 136, 65, 54, 91, 67, 94, and 19? The 19 doesn't make any sense to me. That was week 1 against the Packers. There's also something weird about the way that these games go. We lost to the Vikings. Jahmyr Gibbs only had 25 yards. The week before, we crushed the Bucks, right? Jahmyr Gibbs had 136. The following week after the Vikings, Jahmyr Gibbs had 39 yards against the Eagles. We lose that game. Against the Giants, 219 yards. We win that game. Closer than we wanted it to be, but we win that game. 34-27. The following week against the Packers, 68 yards. But then against the Cowboys, he had an amazing game, but it wasn't on the ground. It was finally through the air. Finally. My biggest key to the game against the Cowboys for Jahmyr Gibbs was putting Jahmyr Gibbs in the slot. And Dan finally did it to the tune of 7 for 77. An amazing game, 43 yards on the ground, over 120 yards all-purpose, or 120 even, all-purpose on the day. Anytime it seems like Jahmyr Gibbs has over 100 yards all-purpose, we win. So what does that mean? Got to feed the dude. Jahmyr Gibbs needs to be the highlight of most games, but you can't just run him the same way every time, the same play, the same hole, the same way. You have to mix it up. And when Dan, or even when Johnny Moe was calling plays and they would mix it up, and you get Jahmyr Gibbs out in space, and he utilized a little bit of pass and a little bit of run and a little bit of pass, that's when Jahmyr Gibbs is his best. And that's when the Lions win. So in this game against the Rams, we can't see this up, down, up, down, up, down. We need to see another game where Jahmyr Gibbs has a big up for a game. And I expect more yards on the ground. And I do expect equal amount of yards through the air with Jahmyr Gibbs in this game. But the question is he better than Saquon? Is he truly better than Saquon? I don't want to sound like I'm just a homer, but I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is better than Saquon, and I think he's going to be better than Saquon when it's all said and done. If you go back and look at, I'm trying to get to his stats there. If you look at Saquon's first 3 seasons, compared to Jahmyr Gibbs in 2023, he missed a couple of games due to injury, I think 2. Barely missed 1,000 yards in his first season. Had 10 TDs. 316 through the air. And how many more TDs did he have through the air? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Why don't I see it? Whatever. In 2018, Saquon in his first season had 1,307. That was also 16 games back then. So Jahmyr missed 2. Saquon played a full season. He finished with 400 more yards. Well, less than 400, about 360 more yards than Jahmyr Gibbs did in his first season. He had 11 TDs. And Jahmyr had 10. In his second season, Jahmyr punched the clock with 14-12. Saquon had 1,003. In his third season, unfortunately, Saquon was injured. And so far, Jahmyr has 1,062 with 4 games left to play. And he's already put up 13 TDs on the ground. If you compare season by season, and you really get granular with it, Jahmyr Gibbs has averaged over 5.2 yards per carry since his rookie season. That's better than Saquon. He's averaged 13 touchdowns a season, far better than Saquon. I got to say yes. 1,000%. And if Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't win or get an all-pro nod this year or be mentioned highly in the MVP votes, then the fix is in. There's nobody doing what Jahmyr Gibbs is doing right now. And only if we had a better offensive coordinator earlier in the season, his numbers would be that much better. And so would the rest of the teams. But even with all of those stumbling blocks that were put in front of this offense, the Lions offense, I don't care if it's Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jameson Williams, or even Isaac Tesla, who's barely played and has already racked up, 4 touchdowns. I had him getting 5 on the season. I hope he gets more. Everyone is able to win. But Jahmyr Gibbs is just that much more special. That much more special. So if I were to go to the next season for Saquon Barkley, he had 13 games in 2021, and he had 593. If I go to the next whole game or whole season for Saquon in 2022, he had 13-12. So in his first 3 full seasons, he was averaging about 1150 a year. And Jahmyr's better than that. Ooh. Kevin, I love that. Bold take of the week. Lions expose the fraudulent Rams defense en route to a 42-17 victory. Man, that would be insane. Can the Lions put 150 on the books versus the Rams? 82% of you say yes. 44 votes will book it. I agree. All right, for the last few minutes here. I'm off tomorrow, by the way. No morning show tomorrow. I've got procedures in the morning. Should be getting a new truck tomorrow. Got a couple of things I got to get done. And then we'll be back on Tuesday. I'll probably come in tomorrow night and talk some more football during Monday Night Football. All right, we've had a rough year. Just being honest. We've had a rough year. What is it going to take now to finish it? Do any of you really believe that we are a Super Bowl team? Well, we're going to find out because I'm going to put up a poll. And if you don't think that we're a Super Bowl team, then make sure that you state that you are either a non-fan of the Lions or give us a reason as to why. Well, Steve, of course you're going to say no because you want the Packers. You want the Packers to win. That's not going to happen. Oh, it's yeah, so I went with a full-size SUV, a Nissan Armada. No truck, but it has truck frame. V8, big V8. Thing's a tank. It's an absolute tank. Whenever I get the new truck, that'll be at least a 2500 HD. I can't have a small one. What's crazy is having to go back. Like, you got to go out back and get an older truck if you want some real muscle. All of these newer trucks with their turbos and everything else, but they got a 3.5 or a 3.6 or something like, come on. Like, really? Need some real muscle in these trucks. Ooh, 60% so far saying that we are a Super Bowl team. 20 votes. All right, we got 130, 40 people in. Let's get some more votes. Let me see. How are these ads doing? Let me see if we can kill these ads. Ads going crazy? Oh, yeah. We'll turn them way back. Oh, yeah, there you go. The 2010 F-250, 5.7. Yeah, they're tough, man. All right, so why? Why are we a Super Bowl team? What makes us a Super Bowl team? Coaching, because of coaching, O-line, and injuries. Okay. So not this season, but next season, yes. I can see that. John Desage says we got this Super Bowl bound. They have to get off this win one. Yes, the up downs have to. Look, Dan Campbell started the up downs, right, when he came to Detroit, and right now we're kind of getting fed with the up downs. Win, lose. Win, lose. All right, I think y'all need to do some up downs. Dan, you got to get rid of it. You got to get it out of your system. Nick P says, no. I just think the step back on the interior O-line is too much to overcome. Miscommunication problems as well. 13 weeks into the season. All great points. You can't argue that. You can't. The Lions have had some difficulty up on that offensive line. It's not a secret. It's reality. And they're banged up. But you know what? I think that when you're under pressure, right? Just like that post by the Lions PR said, pressure makes diamonds. The Lions are under pressure. And they've been battling every week, week in and week out. And some weeks better than others. What I'm going to say is I'm going to go back to what I've been saying now for 2 weeks. The 11-6 Chiefs. They did not look like a Super Bowl team. Now, they had a little bit of refs on their side. We definitely don't have the refs on our side. As much as Cowboys fans want to say that we do, we don't. You go back and look at that Cowboys game and you look at how many calls were not called for the Cowboys. How many false starts were not called? How many holds were not called? How many hands to the face were not called? Yeah, the offensive pass interference on Ferguson was crap, but the play doesn't happen because of the false start. But it wasn't called. The false start gets called, that play doesn't exist. And no one's talking about it. It's unfortunate, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction. It was a makeup call because they didn't call the false start. Even though the ref, when they had their little huddle, said, hey, psst, we missed the false start. Well, shit, man, we can't screw them twice in the same play, can we? Well, why not? You always do. But they didn't. I don't know why, but they didn't. Who among us has actually done up downs? Yes, I have. Now, I would struggle today. Hence the reason why we're putting a gym in after battling the cancer and the spinal injuries and everything else. I'll be doing some intensive outpatient therapy at Mary Free Bed here coming up soon. Get into a really good program. Rebuild everything. And at 45 years old, you know what? It's probably needed. Just like the Lions right now, man. What they need. I'm gonna kill the call now button because no one else is calling in. That's what the Lions need, man. They need a hard reset. And I think they got it. I think they had their hard reset. It's taken Dan a few weeks to figure everything out on the offense. And quite honestly, what I saw this week against the Cowboys was more simplistic style of offensive calling. or offensive calls, play calling. I didn't see anything that was overly complicated, but at the same time, it seems like some of the most least complicated schemes work the best. Why? Because the defense is expecting the worst. And then you do something that they're not expecting. And I think that's how we caught them. Plus, their defense is not very good. That won't work against the Rams. However, if you go into the Rams game with this overcomplicated, watered down scheme, you're going to get crushed. You cannot make it overcomplicated. My biggest fear about the Rams game is that they have 10 days. That Dan has 10 days to cook up all this crap. And it could be too much. That they install way too much. Keep it simple, stupid, man. You got to keep it simple. The KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes that works the best. Oh, Brady, man, I hear you, dude. Getting injections tomorrow. I've needed new hips now for a while. It sucks. And that's why when I heard about the Kirby Joseph stuff and what Dan said in that press conference, I knew exactly what he was talking about. When he said that there was some wear in there, like there's only one kind of wear, and that's arthritis. You know, when your cartilage starts to deteriorate, you got bone on bone going on, or you have osteophytes, which that's really not part of the wear, but it's more growth. It's bad. Arthritis is bad, especially if you're playing football. There you go. Southwest Line 26 says you have to cook up a scheme that the personnel you have is capable of following. But for me, what makes the Rams stop is they have such good balance between run and pass. God, I would hope that the Vikings beat Green Bay the last game of the season for us. That would be impressive. Oh yeah, better the hunt. You in it too, man. Yeah, your knees. That's not easy. It's not easy. Danny Carroll says we are inevitable. What Dan's created, and with the leadership and demand to win that Saint, Hutch, Jack, and Monty bring to a team, we just will win. I don't know who PS is. What's PS? Why is it not clicking? PS. Either way, I get you. I agree. I got the yawns. That means it's time to go. Now, Rams have good coaching. They do. But you know what? Sean McVay can get stubborn too. He's blown some games. He's absolutely blown some games. And let's just hope that he blows this one. Final question, then I'm out of here. Does Jared Goff get booed in LA? Am I going to post workout streams now? No. But I was thinking about doing some when I'm working out or see if people want to jump in at 6 a.m. Go buy a row machine. We'll just row. I like rowing because it's a full body workout. Like 85% of your muscles are used. And it's better on the joints. Right? It's better on the joints. Helps the back. Nice full body stretch. And I have so much nerve damage, it's not even funny. So I gotta be careful, but we'll get it all back in shape. And then when I get the heavy bag, after about 3 to 6 months of doing this, I'll get the heavy bag and then I'll start boxing again. Yes, Goff gets booed. But will his kids be there? his child, his young baby girl, right? Are they going to boo his kid? Just kidding. Well, there you go, Orner U of M Dad. You're going to have to jump on it. You can jump on your elliptical, and I'll jump on the rower. How about that? Long Boy says, it won't be loud. There will be a lot of Lions fans there. We travel well. Okay, I lied. I did have one final thing. So, at the end of the Cowboys game, see, we usually travel so well that at the end of the game, all you hear... Hold on. I forgot I was going to bring in Matt LaFleur's press conference. Oh, well. I'll just watch it later. I just wanted to hear what he had to say. So usually at the end of the game, no matter where we are, that we travel so well that all you hear is Lions fans cheering. Let's go Lions, or Jared Goff, you name it. I don't hear the Jared Goff chants anymore. I don't know what's happened. They've disappeared. Why have they disappeared? Why are we not rooting for Jared Goff anymore? What happened to the chant? It's just gone. You used to go down the halls, right? The corridors, the Ford Field. All you would hear, some sort of chant going on. Don't hear them no more. And especially after the game, when we're walking out, the corridors were loaded with people screaming, excited, chanting. None after the Cowboys game. Maybe people were tired. It was a long night, but it was just kind of, oh, ho, hum. Here we go. We're leaving. Yay, good win. What it felt like. I was pumped. No one seemed to give a shit. That concerns me. It concerns me because we have what I call the penny loafer fans now. And no, I'm not trying to be a jerk. And I'm not trying to, say you're a different fan than me or anything else. But I think that we all understand that when they raise the prices the way that they did, you have to understand that there's a certain crowd that can afford those prices. And it's generally not the hardworking blue-collar America that built this damn team. It's just not. The Detroit Lions were a middle-class, hardworking blue-collar team. And I feel like they're trying to steer that towards a very high upper middle class to the lower upper class type of fan. It's just not the same. I still love you all the same. You're still a Lions fan. But if you're not rooting, if you're not chanting, and if you're leaving early in the fourth quarter and all you have is negative shit to say, you're not helping your team. You're not. Not every day is going to be easy. Everyone's allowed to have a bad day. We can't expect the Lions to be perfect. But what's nuts to me, and I was just thinking about this earlier today, I was like, my God, you look at what the Lions do and they're not even playing to their level. Who said it earlier? 13 weeks and we still have miscommunications. 13 weeks and we still have issues. And we are sitting where we're sitting and we're scoring boatloads of points breaking all sorts of records, putting up yardage like nobody's business, still doing well on the defense. Yeah, we haven't had as many turnovers, which I think is going to start to turn around now. Now that they got a couple and they got a few sacks to go with it, the right kind of sacks, and a bunch of TFLs, it's contagious. It's going to start clicking, finally. So, I'm a little bit all over the place with this last little take here, but cheer, man. Chant. Start it. Be the solution. Don't be the problem. We got a lot of football left to play, and they need every ounce of us. They thrive. If you didn't hear AQM at the end of the game last week, man, the first thing he said was the fans. They depend on us. Our energy is their energy. I know it sounds stupid maybe, but it's true. They thrive on our energy. As much as we give, they can absorb and they will use it. I promise you. They feed off of it. So let's do better. Let's do better. Let's be better fans. All right, we got 4 big games up. Let's go knock them all down. Let's get into the playoffs. Let's get dangerous. Let's go win a Super Bowl, because that's what I expect this team to do. We are no worse than the 11-6 Chiefs. We are a better football team. We're definitely better fans. So let's go get it done. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow in the afternoon at some point, probably early evening. Again, no morning show tomorrow. We'll be back at it Tuesday morning. But I'll put up a thumbnail and we'll get after it. Elite members, make sure you check the community posts for the changes to the coffee boxes. Minor change. But you'll see there's a members only post in there for the elite members. And I've taken enough time off. I'm still not fully healthy, but I'll start getting back to doing some content. I need your help. We got to get it out there. We've got to share it. We've got to hype it. We got to like it. We got to get some views going. Taking this much time off, I'm going to be at the bottom of the algorithm again. It's okay. I'm fighting my way back every time, but I could use a boost, right? I need your energy. I need your help. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Go on Pride, go Detroit Lions, man. Season begins now, right? It's December. We can win. We can finish it strong. I want to be playing in February. And they need your help to get there. We'll see you guys.
Pressured by Hutchinson.